you want to borrow mine.
Okay.
Oh.
7.5, okay?
No,
Do I need to take notes on that?
Yes.
Because I didn't like it, so I got a different one, but I wanted something so I gave it to her.
Okay. Why don't you come in here and learn 7.5?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, 7.5. We're going to be solving for the x-intercepts today, okay? So like I said, we've talked about the a value, how it changes, how it opens up or down. We've talked about what the c value is. That's the y-intercept. We've covered domain and range. We've covered the axis of symmetry. Now we're going to do the x-intercepts, and then we're going to get into the vertex as well.
Yeah.
Okay? So the x-intercepts, remember, it's where the graph hits the x-axis. This is where x equals 0, right? So we need to find where x equals 0. All right, and we do this this is done by factoring the quadratic. Okay. Couldn't tell you. Okay, so by factoring, I'm saying the opposite of FOIL, right? Like a real basic example, x squared plus 3x plus 2. Okay, nice quadratic. My a value is plus 1, so I know my graph is opening upwards. My c value is 2, so I know it runs through the the y-axis, sorry, at positive 2. So if I want to find the x-axes, the x-intercepts, what you have to do is you have to factor this, okay? You need to find out when this equals 0. So what you do is you take this and you go equals 0. Now remember when you do the opposite of FOIL when you're factoring, 2 brackets, like so. Okay? Now, x squared is x times x. Now, factors of 2 that add up to 3. What times what gives me 2 but also adds up to 3?
This is twice.
2 times 1.
2 times 1. Good.
Oh yeah, we did this stuff last year.
Yeah,
We had to
exact same thing.
Yeah, you've done this before. Now, all we're going to do is we're going to change it up a little bit. So I need to find out when these things equal 0.
Okay.
Yeah, this is going to bake your beans. Get ready. All you do, because it equals 0, you just take each bracket now, make it equal to 0, and solve for x.
Oh, that's what you do in 7.4.
Is it? Okay. So,
You find the zeros. That's what Mr. Johnson said.
yes, you're finding the zeros, or sometimes they call them the x-intercepts, sometimes they call them the roots. There are all these different terms for the x-intercepts.
Why do they have so many different terms?
I don't know. Same reason you call a dog a pooch, a dog, I don't know.
Puppy.
Puppy, thank you.
So
I'm like totally blank, you know what else to call a dog right now.
You're like a dog, a pooch.
A mutt.
Yeah, I'm not, thank you. But I really put the pressure on myself and floundered. Okay, so both of these equal 0, and then you just solve for x. Okay, so I have to get x by itself. X equals -2, x equals -1. So those are my x-intercepts.
that's it.
That's it.
So basically, you could just reverse the FOIL and then just make them negative.
Yeah, that's all you're doing. It can be a little more complicated.
This is actually easier than.
Can we do a more complicated one? Yeah, because.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said don't do 7.4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't.
We do a more complicated one.
Sure. Let's
'Cause most of the time when we do this stuff, you go into the lesson and it's like I don't remember it. I don't
It's
know.
not,
yeah,
though.
the lesson is like, so he's like, yeah, I can do this, let's go. And then you get into the assignment and it's like really hard.
It's not
Big
much
numbers.
different than that.
It really isn't meant to be, guys. Let's do something like
Not meant to be, but it still is.
2x squared
Here comes the
minus 4x
It's still low. No,
minus 7.
Okay, of course, yeah.
This is a good example.
Yeah.
Take some practice.
Is it in the textbook?
No, I made this one up. Okay. What kind of? I
Is it
took it.
gonna work for sure?
Yeah. I took one from the textbook and just changed it a little bit. Okay. So when you have a value out front,
Multiply it by 7.
we're not quite there. We'll do that one next. This one's a little bit easier than what you're thinking, Cole.
Okay.
Whenever you have a number out front, see if you can take a common factor out of everything. Can I divide everything here by 2?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes. Take a 2 out of everything. It makes your life a whole lot easier.
So 2 is 2. Because that's like.
So you divide by 2.
If you divide everything by 2,
minus x.
2 is just 1x. 4 it becomes negative 2. 70 is negative 35. All right? And you put the 2 out front. Because technically, if you multiplied everything by 2, you get the same thing. Okay? Yeah, I'm literally redoing the lesson I gave you guys like 6 months ago. Except now we make it equal to 0. Oh. Okay. All right. So everyone knows Emery's passcode now, right?
They probably already do.
Do I have a passcode?
1111 or the ever popular 1234.
Yeah, no one ever guesses that. No.
Like 4 0 3 2.
Sometimes I do 4, 3, 2, 1, but then I forget it. I get stuck at a
Yeah.
All right. So x squared is x times x. What times what gives me 35?
5
Like
times
times
7.
5 times 7. Can I make those add up to negative 2?
Negatives and positives. This is where we have to play around with.
Yeah, it is.
Well, negative
Well,
2.
then just one negative and one positive.
Negative 7, positive 5.
Does
That was
it
my
have
idea.
to be -7 or could it be
Yes. Because negative 5 plus 7 is positive 2.
And if you multiply them, it's still give me negative 35.
No, I mean,
Right.
but if like say we had the same, but like the negative was in front of the 5 and the positive was in front of the 7.
No. Because when you add those up, if you went negative 5 plus positive 7, you're going to get positive 2, not negative 2.
Because the negatives, or the
Yeah, the multiplication would work, but not the thing. Okay? And now, okay, so this, nothing new here. Now you just split the brackets here.
And then do we have to times by 2 now?
No, don't worry about the 2.
Okay.
You can forget about the 2.
That does not make sense for her.
Yeah, so what happens to the 2?
It's just there. Like, if you want, it doesn't change anything. These are the numbers you plug in, okay?
So we could just like divide something.
Oh,
by 2
yeah.
and then
You
never-
take the 2 out to make it easier for yourself, okay?
Okay.
And then you just, because all your,
easier for
Can we always do that?
when you're solving for the x-intercepts, yes. Okay?
Kaylin, just imagine that. Just imagine that Thanos killed him. He just disintegrated the two.
So now it'd be positives.
Right.
Half the equation.
So, like,
Is that, so those two x-intercepts is where.
That's
So
what
here's
the graph
negative
makes it
5.
do.
Oh, let's try to you.
positive 7.
So now it goes like that.
Now
Right.
it's a nice U shape.
So now we can exactly.
Oh.
How do you know that it's going? How do you know that it's
You don't actually.
opening up?
What's my a value?
Positive.
Oh yeah,
Positive.
you do actually.
Positive, you know.
You know that.
You do that.
You know. And I can even tell you what this value was. This was 70. Negative 70.
That's it.
You guys have learned actually quite a bit in the last few days about this
I
stuff.
feel like
What's the vertice though?
We haven't gotten there yet.
Is that a real word?
Yeah. It would be halfway, actually it would be halfway between negative 5 and 7.
Okay, don't,
What about the vertex?
no
Oh wait, no, the
confusing
vertex
things.
is easy as well. Never mind.
The vertex
It's
is,
-5 and -7, which means it's like.
It's not the axis.
it's that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
it goes-
at the axis.
See?
No, that's the point of symmetry, not the vertice.
But no, the vertex and the axis of symmetry. You're just making up words now. Shut. Okay.
So I just gotta get out your goatee here.
All right. Let's do another example.
All 5 or 7.5 is?
Pretty much, yeah. But like we change it up a little bit.
Just wait till the assignment. It'll get harder. I promise you that.
It's not.
Are there word problems?
Not yet.
Not
Yes, not yet.
Not yet.
Oh no.
Don't worry. The last part of the unit's word problems.
Oh, lucky me.
I like how they have to take us out a whole unit.
I like-
I feel like we're missing a spot in the equation.
Okay. For this one here, Cole noticed that we're missing a b value.
Yeah.
Right? My b equals 0. Whenever you have, your a value minus your c value, there's only so much you can do. First thing I'm going to do here, though, is I'm going to take out a factor of 3 out of everything.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, okay.
So it'll be x squared minus
No, it's 3 outside. Right.
9. Yeah. Oh.
All right.
Okay.
Now, do you guys remember these things from last semester?
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
These are difference of squares. I can
Oh
take
yeah.
I can take the square root of x squared. I can take the square root of 9.
It's
Yeah, this is where it gets
minus 3x plus.
even worse because there's like 30 things that we have to do.
But then we're done.
So
Right. So you make it equal 0. Do I worry about this 3 out here?
yes, not.
No.
No. 7.4.
So it
is
just
30.
disappears.
X equals 3. and
It
x
doesn't disappear. You're not using it right now. Like it's still there, but you don't need that part of it to solve. Sure, if you want to see disappears.
I almost killed it, so no explanation.
We have one day.
Okay.
Thursday, dude.
So there's my x-intercepts for this one.
So there's
Negative 3 and positive 3.
Okay. That's nice.
It's not so bad, right?
No.
Yeah, but how do we know when to use one?
You have to just be okay with that. Like you have to understand if I only see an a and a c value.
You have to understand that you never will understand.
No, you guys have the skill set to problem solve these things.
Can the problem is that I couldn't remember all the different ways on the
Can we take a
test for
field
this.
trip?
No.
It's in the. What is that? It's a
Alright, where's Jackson? Which one's Jackson?
Jackson's
He knew who I was, Jackson.
That's because you're in trouble more.
I really am, Or he just likes to bother me while I take tests.
You just-
together.
Otherwise, they can't reset it, and then it gets.
Henry
full
skips
pay.
school all the time.
Never.
No, you
You get to
actually
skip
do.
school?
She always skips school.
Not like
This would be the best, right?
not like undocumented skipping school.
Yeah,
Like
that's
undocumented skipping school.
Undocumented?
Yeah.
No.
Undocumented.
Like, doesn't
It's all
somebody-
documented. We
doesn't
take
somebody document-
meticulous notes on Emery's skipping. Just
Meticulous.
My dad always
Well, she
tells
said
me.
was
I think
not
302
undocumented, so I said
Anne
no.
Marie skipping.
Yeah.
Till
303 still skipping.
304 back. Thanks very much.
All right, guys. Let's try a super duper hard one.
Oh.
Oh no.
Yay.
Well, I guess I
Yeah, because the other ones were so much fun. Sorry.
He knows what we're going
Yeah,
through.
why you don't teach
He knows what we're going
He
through.
gets the struggle,
You know
hey?
what I did the other day? It was scary.
Oh, you
Grade
can't
6 graphing math. And
No, that terrifies me.
yeah, it was.
It's
The
yeah.
spelling was exceptional that day, I'll tell you.
Oh, because you can't take
Uh-oh,
4 out
passed
of
out.
49.
Right.
Me too.
Oh.
Now, if you look, I can't take a common factor out of everything. The 4 goes out of the I can factor 4 out of 4. I can factor 4 out of 28.
Oh, just
But how about
What's that?
3?
I don't know. Whatever
No.
your passcode is.
Okay,
So I took my
we did this as well in grade
It
10.
says there's your passcode.
Do we have to
I'm
do,
just
like,
doing-
I remember
2x?
this stuff.
And 2x.
Yeah,
This is the suckiest
What
part
do you
of
do, like
this.
bracket?
this stuff, yeah, it's a little more challenging.
2x squared plus whatever.
Oh, and then you have to
bracket,
take it out of
bracket,
it
2x
later.
squared.
What?
Something like
You just let him
No, you-
4x is 2.
Yeah.
So
times 2.
4 would be on.
And then we-
At
Just
least you
kidding.
remembered your passcode, Emery.
I do remember mine. This is my passcode.
Oh, really?
My passcode is 2001. That's my birth year.
Just tells everyone who cares.
Is that your iPad?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure, yeah.
That's your
Mine's the
mark
one that has
like-
princess
You-
stickers on the back, so I feel like it's pretty hard
Mine
to
has my
say.
You can get in there whenever you need to watch Netflix or play Clash of Clans. But suddenly,
It's not
oh,
like that. It's a restrictions passcode. I don't never heard of
I didn't put it
restrictions
on.
passcode.
oh,
Is it not
Just
2001?
wait a
No, it's not.
yeah.
You wait a minute.
Your
Yeah,
teacher
like-
probably
we
took it
try
and
all
put
your
restrictions.
Yeah, it's us. We put
It's-
passcodes on all the time.
It's Mr. Krause, I bet. He's the troublemaker.
It's always the quiet ones.
He's not very quiet. He can like
Try
hack
one.
your phone
I
in
don't
like
know.
2 seconds.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's freaky.
Huh.
Okay.
Okay,
So you can't go on certain stuff.
Yeah, but I didn't put anything on there.
let's finish this. Okay, so we know 4x is 2 times 2. X times x. Factors of 49. What do we know? What times what is 49?
7.
7 times 70, right?
7 does 9.
Or we could do 49 times 1.
Right.
But does that sound Does that sound logical?
No.
Not
Here's
no.
the thing.
But it's
7 times 7 would not work.
but
7
it's
times
7
7
times
is-
It
2.
would work
Because
because
it's 7 times 2.
right.
Right,
Gives you
check.
14.
Remember the check for this. You do the middle times the middle.
Oh yeah.
Oh my lord, I
And
hate
14
this.
or 14 is 28.
Oh yeah.
See?
Oh, this was actually the stuff I remember.
You're so smart.
I
This
love
is- I
this. This
Oh,
was
yeah.
so
Yeah,
fun.
but you did fine
Oh
with
yeah,
this.
this is the stuff that I did the complete wrong way. And then Mr. Weber's like, I don't even know how you're doing that. And I'm like, I don't know, I get the right answer. The equation looks right.
So you tried everything.
Okay.
It kind of works. And
All
then
right.
I'm like, okay, nobody listened to Cole. And then he tries to teach me when I don't remember it. And then I'm like, I'm not listening to you. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Possibly.
That's kind of how it went.
Cole self teaches himself.
All right, so we do
I
the
don't
check.
know. I
It
wouldn't say
works.
It was a good idea.
Cool. Now, you separate the brackets once again. Oh wait, positive. Now, when you have 2 brackets that are the exact same, you only need to solve it once. Why? Because they're the same answer both times. So there's no sense in doing 2 brackets here, okay? You can if you want, but you don't have to. So I would just go. Jackson, you need to take your iPad down to Mr. Adam.
He just walked in.
I don't think it is because we're in the home.
Yeah.
Make sure you have your.
Are they broken
password.
yours?
I don't know. I didn't hear about this until walking in this morning.
I didn't either till like 3:30
Wow.
yesterday.
I heard about it.
But I like
I
never
heard
get
about it
told
yesterday
it.
morning, and I was like, I really hope they're not
Yeah.
taking them
Why
today. I
are
didn't
you
bring my
wondering
iPad.
what? Okay, I get it.
Because they're the
They're
exact
the
same.
Exact same, but like.
You could do this. It's up to you.
No, we have to do
But like.
So you bring the 7 over,
Of course, you probably.
and then you divide by 2.
Both of them are going to be.
Or negative 3.5. You can leave it as a fraction. It doesn't matter. You bring the 7 over,
No,
Brooklyn.
Oh, okay, yes.
Okay.
Makes sense. Thanks.
All right.
So how many? Is there 5 different ways to factor?
Well, there's like the simple ones.
the less simple ones.
There's these guys where there's no A value.
Mr. F, could you come to the office, please?
When there's an A value, try to find a common factor. If you can't find a common factor, then you're stuck doing this. Okay? Or, if there's only 2 values, like your A and a C value with the subtraction sign, there's probably going to be a difference of squares there.
Probably.
Yeah, like, I'm not going to give you one and say, solve for the x-intercepts, and there's nothing you can do. Okay?
Well, that'd be a nice trick question. On the test, we spent 45 minutes
Yeah.
doing one question until we realized it's a trick.
I only got on our final, there was one that was impossible, and I spent like 20 minutes on it.
And yet we survived. Okay, so this is what you have to do. You have to know these different strategies that I've shown here and know when to use them.
Oh.
Okay, so I think it was 1 to 4 I gave out, Anne-Marie, yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
What page is that?
Page 405.
I did 3 songs. Uh-oh. I'm running out of this. Oh, well.
Okay?
It's almost like your leaf started loose.
Okay, so